Hey, sports fans, it's world champion handicapper Mike North. Punch this number in your phone right now. If you're driving, pull over. 1-800-808-3419, 1-800-808-3419 for a free pick and info for the premier handicapping site in the country, VegasScoresAndOdds.com. It's the only site you'll ever need with expert handicappers like John Anthony, Denny Macklin, Tony Sacco, Ray Monahan, yours truly, and many more. Check out the homepage of VegasScoresAndOdds.com for a tote board with your buddy. Follow Vegas Scores and Odds on Twitter and dial up 1-800-808-3419. It's 1-800-808-3419, 1-800-808-3419, or go to VegasScoresAndOdds.com.
This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. Parental discretion is advised.
There are so many streaming TV series.
So many channels.
I have a stream.
I just don't know which one to watch.
Is this show worth our time?
I have a stream.
I'm 3 seasons behind already. Is it even worth catching up?
I have a stream.
What's the series about? Well, my wife liked it too.
I have a stream.
What channel is it on? And who's in it?
I have a stream.
I want to watch something new, something original.
I have a stream.
I want to watch something that's action-packed.
I have a stream.
There must be some mistake. I can get you more credits.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
You have something I want.
Who's this guy?
You may think you have some idea of what you're in possession of, but you do not.
My ship has been destroyed. I'm trapped here.
Stripped, not destroyed. The Jawas steal. They don't destroy.
Stolen or destroyed makes no difference to me.
You put the bounty down, and perhaps I'll let you pass.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
Glory. No. You need to go.
What is he doing with him?
I'm as baffled by this conflicting evidence as you are.
Did you kill my son, Terry? Look at me!
Terry murdered a child. Everything he does after that is like he's begging us to catch him. What kind of criminal does that?
He didn't do it.
The evidence and the counter evidence. I'm struggling with that.
Where are you going with all of this?
Is that Terry Maitland? 70 miles away. The same day, the same time as Frankie Peterson was murdered.
A human being cannot exist in two realities at the same time.
I didn't kill that kid, Ralph.
When the facts are filled with coincidences, don't dismiss those coincidences.
I have no tolerance for the unexplainable.
Well then, sir, you'll have no tolerance for me.
All she's asking is that we keep an open mind.
You keep your mind open. I'm just gonna look for facts, evidence, dumb cop shit like that.
I think you should drop the investigation. If you don't, I feel like something very bad is gonna happen.
Something bad's already happened.
If you can't get yourself to really believe, then you're a danger to everyone else.
When I was a kid, I didn't believe in anything. Not God, not the devil. But now I believe there's something else out there. It's worse than I ever imagined.
Marilla, you are the lion cub of Sintra.
Why do you think she's not safe?
I surround a sea of black and gold.
Nilfgaard will destroy everything.
They're here. This is why they came.
Bring me the girl alive.
We have to find Geralt of Rivia.
We can stop Nilfgaard.
I will personally defeat them.
Join us. Why would I protect this? I want to be powerful.
I will take the girl, protect her, and bring her back unharmed.
Do not tell me that this is finally the moment you've decided to actually care about someone other than yourself.
Don't touch Roach. Where's your newfound respect?
Respect doesn't make history.
Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty.
What's happening, barflies? It's John Santucci. Call me Tucci. I have a stream podcast on Bears Barroom Radio. With me, as always, is Joey Two Scoops. Welcome to the Roaring 20s, Joe.
What's going on, Tooch? Man, your intro right there sounds like you had a stroke, man. You okay?
Well, I'm ready for a drink, as you would say, Joe.
You're a little excited.
Oh, man, it's been a long time. I have a stream pod. Been on hiatus during football season, but it is a new decade. It's the Roaring 20s, Joe, and that means it's time for a drink.
It's making a strawberry shake.
Can we get a bartender in here?
Yeah, I think we can. And when you hear this music, you know who's here. You know when they play the Mastodon that Aaron Mikulski, our boy, is in the house. Aaron, what's going on, brother? How are you, my friend?
Digging the intro, man. You guys put a lot of work into that. I am great. Happy to be back. It's been too long. We were just talking a little bit off air. It's been since like August or something like that since we've been rolling. So it's good to be back with you guys.
We had a whole mediocre Bears season in between.
Yeah. Well, new year, new Bears, I guess. That's what the saying everybody says, right?
Amen to that, brother.
Amen. Well, and you know, that was a long intro. We heard The Mandalorian. We heard The Outsider, and we heard The Witcher. 3 shows we'll be talking about today, and a bunch of other songs that happened and came and gone while we were on hiatus. But first, 2 fingers, 2 rocks. Aaron, a little bourbon.
You bet. We'll get that for you, yes, sir. We can get that coming right up. And Joey, what you drinking, my friend?
You know what? It's actually kind of funny. I'm right in line with the Tooch today. I got myself a little Midsummer Night's Dram, a little whiskey. The stuff is good, so I'm gonna follow suit with the Tooch.
Very good. Coming right up for both you gentlemen.
Nice. And Aldo texted me. He said drinks were on the house tonight, Aaron. So
good.
For bartenders as well.
Yep, it sounds like Aldo's going to be having a bourbon as well. So it seems like that's going around pretty well.
Yeah. What's the bartender drinking himself, Aaron?
Man, I'm gonna go with, I think Sam Adams has like a winter ale, since it's obviously a little bit snowier here in Iowa, as Tooch found out not too long ago. It sounds like we had a bit of a delay in the show because he got caught in a blizzard, got caught in the whiteout. So
Joe had a long drive home.
I know, a 15-minute drive turned into almost an hour. So
yikes!
So here's that nice cold beer for you, Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
beautiful.
All right. Well, we've been off for a long time, huh, Joe?
We have. It's been quite a while. There's probably some new listeners out there, Tooch. So why don't we tell them what all I Have a Stream is all about, my friend?
You read my mind. And there's Barroom growing in popularity and new listeners all the time. I Have a Stream podcast is about streaming TV shows, for example, on Netflix or Hulu or HBO, which is probably the top shelf of streaming series is HBO. And we're going to hit some of the ones that we didn't get to talk to while we were talking football. And we also take a look at television history from time to time. We have guests come in, and we'll be recapping a show, and this time it'll be HBO's The Outsider, based on the Stephen King novel. And boy,
good stuff.
The first 2 episodes were pretty killer.
Literally.
So, let's do a little. What are you watching, and how's it going for you? So we'll start with Joe. You ready? What are you watching now?
Man, I've watched so many shows. It's getting unbelievable. We just finished The Mandalorian, which is probably one of the most favorite things I've watched in a long time ago. I'm sorry, in a long time. I'm thinking of Star Wars in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I'm so caught up into that. But man, that show is the production value. Jon Favreau, Taika Waititi, who was just given his own Star Wars movie yesterday. That's some news.
Thor Ragnarok director.
Yes, yeah, very good stuff right there. So I watched The Mandalorian. I'm also watching The Morning Show right now, Tooch, and that's a fantastic show on Apple TV+. Jennifer Aniston, Steve Carell, Reese Witherspoon.
Wow, what a cast!
Yeah, it's a really, really good. It's just a show you got to watch. What else? We've Disney Plus. We've been kind of streaming the heck out of that, man. So I've been watching. My wife and I have been watching The Simpsons from the very beginning. So kind of getting into The Simpsons. It's got every episode ever except for the Michael Jackson episode, which for whatever reason Disney decided to pull. Which is very strange because that's one of the better episodes, if you guys remember.
Was that the one? I can't ever remember. Did he do the talking but not the singing because of contract obligations? He could only do one or the other in that episode.
Yeah, I think he was just talking. I think or it was the other way around. I don't remember.
I don't remember. But, yeah, he could only talk. He could only do one of the other two or one of the two because he couldn't do both due to his contract.
Yeah, and man, I tell you. There's like I said, there's so many shows. We also watched all of Watchmen, which is unbelievably amazing.
Yes.
If you have not watched that, watch that. His Dark Materials, another fantastic show.
Yeah.
And a show that doesn't get enough due, and I know I'm going on too long.
Oh, you're good.
A show on HBO that doesn't get enough credit. You guys really need to watch The Righteous Gemstones on HBO.
Oh.
That is hysterical. Danny McBride, John Goodman, Adam Devine. It's like they're making fun of basically like the Olstein family and the mega churches.
Oh really?
My God, it's hysterical.
Seen for it.
Oh,
You have to watch it. It's so good.
I haven't watched that yet. I just got done watching Servant on Apple TV, and that was excellent. It's M. Night Shyamalan, and it's 10 episodes.
Shyamalama Ding Dong.
It is about a young couple in Philadelphia, of course, where all of his movies are set.
Oh.
And they had recently lost a baby, a 13-week-old baby, and you discover like all these things that had happened. It's very well done. He's got a style, very almost like Hitchcock, and very close-up faces. They're talking to the camera, and there's lots of strange things that happen.
I thought you were going to say almost like Hitler.
Like Alfred Hitchcock, and
what a strange style.
they invite a nanny in who's a strange nanny, and stranger things keep happening. And boy, it was excellent, man. And,
no, that's not what I'm thinking of.
Aaron, how about you? What are you watching right now, and how's that going for you?
I've been watching a bunch of different things. Netflix has come out with a bunch of shows. Lost in Space was really good. Again, Lost in Space was kick-ass. Messiah, I enjoyed.
Yes.
That one evidently didn't go over very well with a lot of people online. It got like a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow,
I enjoyed
really
it.
Good.
I enjoyed it. The other one that I was watching, we watched V-Wars, but honest to God, skip that one. That one wasn't that impressive.
Tell the audience what Messiah is about.
Messiah is about a guy that kind of shows up, and I can't remember what country, if it's Iran and Iraq, more or less starts getting a following from people kind of preaching the word of God. He's blaspheming, and people of Islam say he's not quoting scripture correctly, which is against their religion. There's a couple other things that he does, but so he starts getting this massive following, and he starts doing, you can't see me so well, but air quote, miracles. I'm not going to spoil the miracles because there's one or two holy crap moments and you wonder how the heck he did it. But their government, the CIA, is kind of tracking him because they think he could be some kind of a terrorist threat with the amount of followers that he's getting. So, yeah, perfect. It's really, a typical Netflix special. It's about 10 episodes, about an hour apiece. And there's a lot of different things to it. It keeps you questioning the whole way through it. The whole thing for the trailers, is he a fraud? Or is he, the next Messiah? Do you believe
it raises a lot of questions? That's why I liked it, Aaron, because what would happen if if we're faced with the question of whether somebody is the second coming of Christ?
Do you remember they were in the college class and they said, all right, they were doing something with religion. The teacher said, finally, what do you guys think about this new Messiah thing that's going on? And one of the kids said he's kind of scared that what if this guy is legit? Then you really have to deal with the fact that all religion and stuff is coming true. That's kind of a world-breaking thought, really, if you get into it.
Right, and let's circle back a little bit to the Mandalorian. Joe, tell the audience briefly what the Mandalorian is about. And I want to make one comment about Mandalorian. It has that vintage Star Wars look to it, doesn't it, Joe?
Oh, sure, it sure does, man. So just basically the premise of the show is this takes place about 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And you follow a mysterious Mandalorian bounty hunter. And the show basically opens up with him tracking down a bounty and bringing him in. And it kind of takes off from there. And I'm sure lots of people have seen all the memes online, but we'll save that for a little deeper conversation later on. But everyone knows the child is a main character of the show. And the dynamic and basically the deep dive into the Star Wars universe and lore really is worth the price of admission. And if you don't even have Disney Plus and you just want to listen to it, go ahead and just get the free trial for a week. Watch all The Mandalorian. It's worth it. It's one of the best things I've watched on TV probably ever.
Yeah, it was one of the standouts of this off season while we were talking football. Another one I really enjoyed was Carnival Row on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you guys
I gotta get to that one. No, I have. I mean, if I'm going to get Amazon Prime, good. That itself.
It's a mystery, and it kind of takes place in this Victorian fantasy world, a steampunk, and there's a detective played by Orlando Bloom, who is tracking a serial killer. In the slums of a town, the slum area is called Carnival Row, and the serial killer may be some kind of mythical monster, and then of course there's fairies and goat men or satyrs, I guess they're called, and they live among men, and there's werewolves, and it's out there, but it's really well done. And it has a great mystery and a great story. It has these two families, royal families, who are it has that political intrigue, which you guys would really enjoy if you get a chance to watch that one. Any other ones you saw, Joe, that you'd like to recommend?
Oh man, there's so many shows. I'll briefly touch on Watchmen for a second, just because. It's probably, I thought The Mandalorian's one of the best things I watched all year, but I think overall, what Damon Lindelof was able to do with the story and bring Watchmen, the same universe, but bring it into modern times.
Yeah.
Everything he did with that show is unbelievable. They're talking now about back and forth about whether or not he's going to come back and do season 2. And if he does, there might be a huge delay. HBO said they're going to wait for him if he wants to come back, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't want anybody else touching it because it's seriously some of the best television you'll see probably for a long time.
Yeah, it was excellent. Now, today, I think news broke today that there will be no second season of Watchmen.
Did they officially say that?
Yeah, well, initially they said that they didn't ever plan on having a second season. Which, I mean, when I'm not a huge Watchmen. I've never read the graphic novel, which I'd like to, but what's the Watchmen without Dr. Manhattan? I mean, that's the whole thing for me when I was watching it. Like, they can't do, well, I guess depending on how it ended, there may be, but
yeah, you better watch it.
You really gotta watch it, dude.
Okay, yep, good point. Yep, good point.
Scene, Joe, that scene with the hammer, you'll never forget.
No, not
with Cal and Angela. Oh my god!
Just the ending of the season in general, Tooch. The way the last frame.
I called it. I told my girlfriend what was going to happen. She was like, "Nuh-uh," and it did. That was awesome.
Truly masterfully done.
Hey, and Zach Sullivan in the chat room is recommending You on Netflix, which was just renewed for season 3. I have not seen it.
My wife loves that show. She's watched seasons 1 and 2. Hasn't gotten around to 3 yet.
Well, there isn't season 3 yet.
Right, season 3 is
season 3.
It's going to be coming. Yeah.
Okay, so she loved season 1, but she hasn't gotten to season 2. So
yes,
yeah,
dude, you got to watch it with her. My girlfriend was starting to watch the first episode of season 2, and it's not a show we call it. My girlfriend's Rachel and Aaron show. It's not an Aaron show, but I got really into the first episode and watched it, and it's awesome. It's
the main character's name is Joe, so I guess I should watch it, right?
I think you're obliged to. Yeah, I think you have to.
I have no choice.
Nope,
now,
definitely.
Aaron, did you see his Dark Materials?
I did. I watched all the way through his Dark Materials. I didn't like it as much as Watchmen, but I did enjoy it.
Wow, that was really good, too. I really enjoyed that one. That was so well done. The cast was fantastic. That was an HBO, and it was done in production with BBC. So it had a very big budget. And if you like the fantasy stories in the vein of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that's kind of where we're going with his Dark Materials.
Was it based on the Golden Compass? Is that what the book that was
based off of? The Golden Compass was the first novel of the.
Oh, okay.
In his Dark Materials series. But yeah, that was also really good. And before we move into The Outsider, any other series that either of you would like to recommend?
There's one that just started today on Netflix. I can't remember what it is. It looks like it's a foreign show because I love my foreign shows and spooky shit. It's about an underground cult, and I cannot remember. I'm gonna have to look up and come up with the title of it. But it looks really good. I can't remember the name of it, but other than that, it seems like as far as I can remember, that's about the only one that
I've got one more. It's just on Netflix. Season 2 or part 1 of season 1, part 2 of season 1. Disenchantment from Matt Groening.
Yes.
I haven't seen season 2 yet, but
it's also season fantastic.
Really funny.
Definitely worth the watch. Very good, very funny. There's just so much great stuff right now. There's so much great television. It's unreal.
Right, and also on Netflix, I forgot to mention. I just started watching the Mind of a Killer, Aaron Hernandez.
Yes.
I started that too. Yep, I forgot that was on this morning.
That is really good, and that is a docudrama series with
John Bon Jovi's in it.
The story of Aaron Hernandez, a former Patriots tight end who had everything and went to jail for a double murder. So if you like football and you like the docudrama series about real-life murder mysteries, then you'll enjoy
with football players that are confused about their sexuality. Yeah, it's
right.
He's happy.
Yeah, I didn't know that part until I was watching it this morning. That kind of caught me off guard. I didn't know that was.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a part of it either. Yeah, all right. So you guys ready to jump into Outsider episodes 1 and 2? And let's give a little brief overview before we start spoiling this. So, The Outsider is a miniseries on HBO. And it's based on the Stephen King novel. And it was written for the screen by Stephen King and Richard Price, who brought us The Wire, another really great TV show. And it also has episodes directed by Jason Bateman, who also stars in it. And he was also the star of Ozark, another great TV series on Netflix.
Yeah.
The rest of the cast includes Ben Mendelsohn, who plays the lead investigator, and Bill Camp, who plays the attorney. It also has Mare Winningham and Yul Vasquez, who you saw in Russian Dolls, another great show on Netflix.
Yeah.
So let's get into a brief little overview of The Outsider. And it opens with a brutal murder, probably the most horrific murder I've ever seen. And it might turn off some people. But a little boy is sexually assaulted, mutilated, and killed. And that's the opening scene. A man is walking his dog and discovers the body, and the body has been cannibalized.
Well, you know it's Tooch's kind of show right away.
It was a hard scene for me because I have kids, so...
I was just kidding. Yes.
It's very...
it might really dark real quick.
It might turn some people off, but that's the mystery. Who killed the kid? And it all leads towards one man, Jason Bateman, who plays Terry Maitland.
Yeah.
And
to anybody,
Joe, why don't you...
Kind of messed up. It's not a huge part of the show. They show just a little bit. They talk about it briefly. It's not like the focus of the show is based on the gory details of what happened to the child. So just kind of don't get scared off just on that.
So
yeah, the premise is it's a really interesting one because it shows this Terry Maitland character, Jason Bateman, and how he's like pretty much the perfect dad. He's a baseball coach. He's with his family. They're torn up about the murder of this kid, but they're like, let's go play this game. It's good for the town to come back together, be strong. And while he's coaching this game, the detective played by Ben Mendelsohn and his group of police come and arrest him for the murder of the child. And it just kind of spirals from there. Like they have all this proof, they have witnesses that saw him, they have video cameras that saw him. And then, naturally, Tooch, they find other proof that he was actually out of town and not there. So there's conflicting. There's basically he was in two places at once, and that's kind of where it picks up, and it's driving this detective mad.
And that's the gist of it right there. Is how was he in two places at one time? So. Before we theorize of what our theories are in this, let's go back and talk about Terry is well loved by the town, wouldn't you say?
Originally,
he good point. It's a small Georgia town. And everybody knows everybody. Terry coached probably everybody's kids in baseball. He's a winning coach. Mostly gets his teams to the playoffs, and the kids love him. And he ends up being the main suspect of this show, and he's arrested in front of the whole town. And that's one of the first mistakes, right, Joe?
Oh yeah, it's like it was so public, and everyone thinks he's guilty immediately. So. It definitely did not set it up well, and it puts Terry in a bit of deep water right away because everyone immediately assumes everyone assumes that he is guilty.
And the police officer is Ralph. I think it's Ralph Anderson.
Maybe
played by Ben Mendelsohn is the detective.
Oh yes, case. Yep. Awesome job.
Jason Bateman, he coached Ralph's son, so they have a history, of course. And Mare Winningham plays Ralph's wife, who wants him to do things differently in the case. And then Yul Vasquez plays Ralph's boss, his boss at the police department. Now, when we get to Ralph's investigation, Terry's seen near a white van with blood spots on it, and a little girl witnesses him coming out of the woods with blood on his mouth. He also was seen picking up the Frankie Peterson, who's the little boy who was killed, one of his baseball players, picking him up at a grocery store by a woman. So there's a ton of evidence. He's on camera. He leaves his fingerprints everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's also videotape of him at a teaching conference 100 miles away.
Exactly.
So the dilemma of Ralph is how is the person in two places at one time, and how are they going to try this case, because both sides have great evidence. So it's basically, if you like police procedures, the police procedural here is the main focus. So let's get into a little bit of a theory. There's also a hooded man who shows up in a couple places. Aaron, do you have any
That
thoughts?
is my theory, actually. The hooded man, the second that I saw him, the first thing that popped in my head was like, it's a shapeshifter. Like, he's got to be some kind of a doppelganger shapeshifter. Like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Joe, he said the magic word.
What's the magic word again?
Doppelganger.
Oh, wait a second.
A doppelganger is a mysterious exact double of a living person. It is a German word that literally translates to double walker or double goer. A doppelganger isn't someone who just resembles you, but is in fact an exact double, right down to the way you walk, act and dress.
There you go.
What? Your fingerprints as well. That's funny. Right. That's seriously my theory. Once we get into a little bit more at the end of episode 2, there were some other kind of hints towards that I shared with Tooch over text that once we get into the spoiler area, what happened with the last there, I'll talk a little bit more about that.
We had that one waiting for you, Aaron.
Got me. I mean, perfect. Yeah. Talk about doppelganger.
Yeah, you said it so quick. I had to say, what's the magic word? Doppelganger. Here we go.
Thanks to Barrelissimo for the definition read.
Oh, was that him? I did catch that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was definitely Barrelissimo.
It was Professor GB Sveinhund.
Yes. Very big thanks to Barrelissimo.
Dilly dilly.
All right. All right. So, episode 1, Fish in a Barrel, was directed by Jason Bateman, and we end up with Terry in prison, right? Joe, he ends up in prison.
That's right.
Now, the family of the boy who was murdered ends up with some tragedy. So this is going to
tragedy.
I couldn't really figure out what the heck happened with the mom. She freaked out. She took a bat, started smashing stuff. Did she have a heart attack? Is that what happened?
When she fell against the wall, she held her left arm. So that's what I'm assuming happened. She kind of like stopped and like held her left arm, and when she fell to the ground. So that's a sign of a heart attack. So.
Right, and I wanted to. I didn't catch that the first time around. So, but the mom died of grief, a broken heart attack. And then the son, of course, was murdered. And then the dad, also ends up, of grief. He hangs himself in episode 2. Is that correct?
Yes, but did they really succumb to grief? The hooded figure was outside their house.
Right. When the dad hung himself, you're right.
Hooded figure was outside when the father of Frankie Peterson hangs himself. And let's talk about, in episode 2, Roanoke, also directed by Jason Bateman, there is a long courthouse walk, Joe, which I think was just... I had to stop and say, why the F would they do that?
Mm-hmm.
So
why would they bring the pregnant lady there, too? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, okay. So we might as well get into this because Ralph... It's hard to follow Ralph along as the hero when he's made these 2 gigantic mistakes, man. I'll tell you, the first mistake was arresting Terry in front of the whole town.
Which he later admits.
Which he later admits is a mistake, because it not only that, but it set out a bunch of events, including the one during the long courthouse walk. The long courthouse walk being another gigantic mistake. Now, on the long courthouse walk... Joe, why don't you tell the audience what happens in this long courthouse walk?
Well, first and foremost, Jason Bateman's like wide open, and like he's totally wide open with his wife, and they're walking like they're going to like Sunday mass. Like no one's even like guarding him in front of him, and there's a tiny barricade with like nobody blocking it, and naturally a masked figure jumps over that, and shoots all kinds of people, causes some chaos, and it kind of spirals out of control. So,
right, and it took me a while to realize what had happened, but the main character is killed. I guess I just
they didn't make it very.
Blows me away when they do that. The same thing when they set it up as like, oh, this is Jason Bateman. It's gonna be a Jason Bateman show, and then he dies right away. Which is why they do it. I mean, they did the same thing in the first Godzilla with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
You figure he's gonna be in it the whole time, and just briefly into it, they kill him. And I mean, we don't see it coming, so I suppose that's probably what it is they're looking for.
We know there's another Jason Bateman around somewhere, so. Is he really done on the show? Probably not.
Is he really Jason Bateman, though, or is he whoever he wants to be?
He's whoever he wants to be, but...
That's my theory.
He's still hanging around in that strip club and parking his van in the backyard of a strip club, so...
Yep. Taking across town.
Apparently
I don't know.
That bullet struck his carotid artery, and he bled to death.
I
assume.
Yeah,
but,
whatever.
It didn't look like that bad of a shot, of a wound. But then all of a sudden he's gone. But Ralph is left with the mystery of who really killed him, because Terry's last words were, "I didn't do it."
Mm-hmm.
And you think he would have confessed if he's dying anyways.
Right.
So
Confess.
we have that mystery.
Confess! Confess!
Nice. So there's a few other things going on now. Terry's daughter is visited, so she says, by a man in her room all the time who says bad things to her and, says horrible things about her and her dad and her family. Do you guys have any theories about who the little girl is seeing?
It's got to be the hooded man, right?
Yeah. Nope, definitely. I'm thinking so, especially with... Now, in the bedroom, didn't somebody say something about because there were wet footprints in the bedroom, but I thought maybe they mentioned something about it in the episode, and I can't remember. That's escaping me. But I thought somewhere else they mentioned there was footprints or something.
Right, there was small puddles of water.
Yeah,
and the little girl's name is Jessa. In Jessa's room, and she's always yelling at somebody she sees. Stop saying that about my dad, or all that stuff. So Ralph was left to pick up the pieces. He still wants to figure out who killed Frankie Peterson, who destroyed Frankie Peterson's family. Ralph also lost a child. He's still grieving about that. He lost a child to cancer, who was taught to bunt by Terry Maitland.
That's a great speech.
Jason Bateman was his baseball coach. That was a great scene between two great actors.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Ralph gets on a clue that the Maitlands were on vacation in Dayton, and that was where the van had a leaflet, a piece of a leaflet from the Hangry Pig barbecue restaurant.
Right.
So, investigating it, they find that this van was stolen by a 12-year-old kid who drove it from New York to Dayton. And somehow the van followed the Maitlands down to Georgia, because it ends up down in Georgia. Little boy didn't, but the van still followed them down there.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys about the other daughter tells Ralph that Terry cut his hand when he was in Dayton. Do you think that has anything to do with what happened?
Do. Yep.
Oh,
I definitely do. Yeah,
And
because
then he
he
said
cut it
that-
on the nurse cut it. He bumped into a nurse or something like that, and the nurse cut him.
Okay. Yeah, they wouldn't mention it really. Do you think without, it having to be one clue?
Yeah, they placed that in there specifically for that reason. Like I said, the little girl said something about Daddy bumped into a nurse and cut his hand at that point. I don't remember much more other than that, but yeah, I think that goes in with my shapeshifter theory. I think maybe that's when he got his DNA and was able to clone him.
Good. Excellent. Yeah. So we also we mention that the shooter was Frankie Peterson's older brother that kills Terry. So that whole family was wiped out. The Maitland family loses Terry.
Mm-hmm.
And the Andersons have already lost one boy. So, do you guys think, or Joe, do you think that whatever this entity that's killing is targeting these families?
That's a great
The
question.
Petersons, the Maitlands.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time because there was a time where I'm like, yeah, I do think he's a shapeshifter, but I also get the vibe that this hooded guy is like Death, and he's just kind of like following people around and showing up because he's always around when people die. So I guess my theory is that I don't have any idea what my theory is yet. It's got me so confused.
And you guys haven't read the novel, right?
Correct.
I haven't either. So. Nope. All right. So after Terry's killed, Ralph asks for help from Glory, who's Terry's wife, and of course Terry's attorney, played by Bill Camp, who we saw in The Night Of, another good HBO series, and he's an excellent actor too. And between the lawyer of Terry and the DA, and now no case, Ralph is stuck with picking up those pieces. So I think he already went up to Dayton and found the kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna find out what happened to that nurse. That's one clue that's still out there.
I mean, like we said, they placed that in their dialogue for a reason, so I think that's going to play a part of it. I guess I don't know if he's gonna, I don't know if he's going to go up there, but I don't think that's the last we've heard of this mysterious nurse that Jason Bateman cut his hand with.
Right. So Ralph's got to make up for his two big mistakes. That I was still pissed off about the long walk because they didn't walk so far. It gave too many opportunities for a shooter. To take out Terry. But all right, so
feeling about this.
There you go, boys.
Before we close out and get into anything else, how about we do some news, Joe, in the TV world?
That sounds good, man. It's time for our news in 2 scoops or less.
All right.
You look like Mary Poppins.
Is he cool?
Hell yeah, he's cool.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all! Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
It's entertainment news in 2 scoops or less.
Holy smokes!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the part of the show where we give you the news in 2 scoops or less. And we got quite a bit of news to cover, so let's just get rocking and rolling through it, shall we? So, leading things off, coming to Disney Plus on February 21st, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, the final season. So for those of you that are in withdrawals from The Mandalorian, you're going to find out some good Star Wars cooking right there. And I have a feeling it's going to lead right into what's going to happen in The Mandalorian Season 2. Because those of you that saw the ending of The Mandalorian know what's coming next. So, make sure you tune in to Star Wars The Clone Wars, Disney Plus, February 21st. And then High Fidelity, Hulu's take on the Nick Hornsby novel with Zoe Kravitz in the John Cusack record store owner role, is apparently coming out on the Valentine's Day. That's gonna be
nice.
That's gonna be a good one right there. And
nice. You have good music in that one too.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if you guys saw this today, but it came out that Hank Azaria no longer going to do the voice of Apu on The Simpsons. There's been a lot of backlash with the character Apu, as you could imagine, for its racial undertones, but he's still going to do voices of, comic book guy, Chief Wiggum, Mo. So he'll still be doing that. So that's going to be good. And then Aaron was telling me a little bit about another Jason Bateman show. Aaron, do you want to drop this nugget of news?
Yes, sir. Another favorite of a girlfriend of mine, Ozark Season 3 will return to Netflix on March 27th.
Oh, that was great. You got to see Ozark, man. Great show.
That's a
I
show.
haven't
Super
seen
good.
any of it, so I got to start it before.
Did you notice that? Do you remember the bigger hairy?
Yes.
He's in
The Outsider.
Yeah,
Mark
he's looks
Menchaca.
way different without the facial hair and stuff. But he was the guy that was
played,
going to kill the boar.
Russ Langmore in Ozark, and he plays Jack.
Yep.
The boar hunter.
Exactly. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, and then continuing, guys, with the entertainment news, Lock and Key on Netflix is coming on the 7th of February, which is based on the comic book. It's produced by the Carlton Cuse of Lost. It involves Scions and New England family who return home to find these magical keys that allow them to enter people's minds and view memories or change their personality traits. So that's going to be pretty cool.
I was going to say, each key leads to a room that gives them a different power, is basically what's going on with this house.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and
Aaron held up a comic book of that, so in case
you bet. I'm excited for that one. They talked about that years ago. That's been going. Last I knew, Hulu had a hold of it, but I'm excited that that's finally going.
Yep.
Yeah.
That will be on Hulu, Joe?
Oh, that's going to be on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
Oh, okay. Good.
Killer.
Excellent.
Okay, cool.
So if you've seen the trailer for it, it looks really good. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out.
No, there's a trailer. Excellent.
On another big show with a lot of followers, Homeland is returning on February 9th, and it's been 2 years, so it's been quite the hiatus. I know fans of that show will be happy to see that come back. And Tooch's old favorite show, now not so much, The Walking Dead. The second half of Season 10 will be starting up at the end of February 23rd. So you Walking Dead fans, tune in for that. And then in the music world today, folks, Eminem dropped a surprise album. His new album, Music to Be Murdered By, was dropped today. And one of the big messages from that album is lobbying for stricter gun control laws.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I listened to a couple tracks off it today, and he's back, and he sounds as good as ever. So Eminem's new albums.
Can't wait to hear that.
And then last but not least, I've got a cage full of good news, gents. National Treasure 3 has been announced. Details are to come, but apparently the script is in the works. So National Treasure 3 coming to a theater near you in the distant future. Let's steal the Declaration of Independence.
Right. Are they going to steal Nicolas Cage some acting talent? That'd be kind of nice.
Hey, maybe it's a cast full of Nicolas Cage.
Those were good. I like those ones.
Not a Nicolas Cage guy
that.
myself, but yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we've reached the end of the show, Joe. We're still up in the air as to our regular time slot, so we're fighting for space wherever we can get it. But look for the show in the future, and we'll still be recapping The Outsider and recapping a few, whatever great shows we can find on.
That is very nice.
We'll hopefully be joined by Barroom personalities like Draft Dr. Phil and Greggy Braggs and others, Barflies as well. So stay tuned. Message, I have a stream. DMs are open if you're interested and you want to talk about a show. Send us a message and follow I Have a Stream pod on Twitter. Follow me at Santucci_John at Twitter. Follow Joe at
Joe Mandel. Very easy.
And follow Aaron Mikulski at AMikulski88 on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
Follow Bears Barroom at Bears Barroom on Twitter for all the great content. Bears 100 proof, Shy fans in the stands.
12 rows up, Shy fans in the motherfucking stands.
Nice. We got Draft on Tap, the Tailgate Show, the Barrelissimo Show, the new Barrelissimo, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
We also have other great shows like Cars Keys and Draft on Tap, the Buffon 55, and of course the Mike North Advantage. So whatever you're looking for, Bears Barroom has it. Programming almost every day of the week. And
That's
Joe,
right.
any other final thoughts from you two? Joe?
Man, it's a great time for television, man. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. The football season is just about over. Super Bowl just around the corner, so we'll have all that streaming and television news to get you through.
Sunday predictions, Joe?
I'm taking the Titans over the Chiefs.
Oh.
And I am taking... Why am I drawing a blank on what the other game is?
49ers and Packers.
And then I'm taking the 49ers over the Packers. And I'm looking at a Titans-Niners Super Bowl with the Titans coming out victorious in the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Titans are looking good. I don't know, man. I'm going to go roll with the Chiefs and Niners. What about you, Aaron?
Same here. Chiefs and Niners. That's what's doing it for me.
I do not feel confident about that Chiefs pick, though. The Niners look really... I mean,
we don't
the
give
Titans
a
look really
fuck.
good.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the Titans. Just for me, they're kind of. I don't think they're going to keep it going. I don't. I think the Chiefs are rolling.
I don't know.
They got new confidence after banging out that 51-point game. I don't see that getting stopped anytime soon. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, Titans have obviously proven me wrong twice already, so we'll have to wait and see.
All right. One of my favorite shows when I was a kid, the Benny Hill Show. All right, Barflies, we're going to sign off now. Joe, will take us out with a little television.
You know it, and for all you guys listening, we'll be back at some point next week. We don't know what day, but we're going to be back, and we're going to be talking about all the streaming shows you love. A huge thank you to our brother and bearded master, Aaron Mikulski, for joining us and serving the drinks tonight. Aaron, we appreciate you, brother.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
And Tooch, always fun talking television with you.
Oh yeah, same here, Joe. Thanks again for all the things you do at Barroom, and we'll see you guys next week.
You know we will, and we'll catch you next time at the television,
in front of the TV, on the couch,
on the John.